Hi, I'm Anita Wood and welcome to my video on how to texture a canvas. So today I'm going to show you about how I like to, this is my go-to texture, so how I like to do that. And this is basically the way that I prepare every canvas that I start on. So this is a new canvas. I just opened it and it is on the gallery canvas, so it does not have to be framed when it's finished. And what I like to start off with is I use 3 different ingredients. And the first one that I use is a heavy gel mat. And basically I just take my palette knife and spread some of the mat. And the second one is a light molding paste. And I do the same thing with that, is just take that, I will hold this up in a minute, and I just spread that on the canvas. I still have some on my palette knife, but basically I just put some blobs on there, as you can see. Okay, no design in mind. And then for the third one, I use gesso. And just give that a little shake, and just pour. And no, I don't have a ratio, I don't measure, basically probably because really I don't cook. Therefore, I really don't measure things. No problem. And so now now we see that the gesso is on here, and then I just take the palette knife and just start spreading, and it's kind of fun. Mix them all together. You can mix the whole thing together, get it on your palette knife, and then spread it on the canvas. I'm not looking for any peaks. Now the heavy gel mat can actually, it's heavy enough that it will form peaks if you want it to, but that is not what's in my interest. If it's in yours, go for it, because it is heavy enough to do that, that if they form peaks, they will dry like that. And because it is a gel, it is going to dry clear, and it cannot be sanded. Whereas with the light molding paste, it is a paste, it dries opaque, and when that is dry, it can be sanded. So there's a little difference in the two mediums there. And gesso, well, gesso is the primer, and kind of use gesso on everything. As a matter of fact, just while I'm doing this, if I happen to not texture a canvas that I'm starting on, and that doesn't happen very often, then I still add gesso. Even if it says that it's primed, I find that I still add 1 or 2 coats of gesso, because the paint does seem to adhere better to the canvas. Okay, some say that this is kind of like putting icing on a cake. I think, because it's not something that I usually do either, I think this is just like kind of having fun and coming up with a nice texture. I do not have a design in mind. I'm asked that frequently, and I have done that in the past. I've textured for a specific design of a painting, and then when I go to do the painting, I've changed my mind, and then it's like, oh boy, now I have to do something else. But so what I do is I just generically, I can say that, generically add the texture. But if you're painting and you want a different texture on the bottom of it, that can be added as you go. As you build the painting, the texture can be added as well. So this is just a nice texture to get started. Add some interest to the canvas. I like to sweep my knife very gently over the top to give it some nice, not ridges, but lines, I suppose. And so I'm also careful about the edges, again, because it's a gallery canvas, it does not need to be framed. But if I want to paint the edges, I do not like to have them be full of the texture, and so I like to keep them clean as much as possible. Okay, actually I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a little sweep up here. And I'll show you. I Hope you could see that as I was putting the texture on. I think you can see the texture here. And it kind of settles down just a little bit while it dries. As a matter of fact, there's one canvas that I did this morning, and I'll show you the effect of that. Just looks a little softer. This is not dry. It takes approximately 24 hours for all of this to dry, but this is dry on the surface. If I was to touch it, it would be wet on the inside, so just the top might be dry, but it would ooze out and I would leave a fingerprint. So it's best to put it someplace and not worry about it for 24 hours. And the gels that I like to use and the pastes, well, you don't have to use heavy gel matte. You could use heavy gel gloss if you prefer. It really doesn't matter, but I find the heavy is just nice combination with the other items that I like to use. And also the light molding paste. Molding paste comes in light molding paste, just molding paste, heavy molding paste, and also something that's called hard molding paste. And I personally like to use Golden Products, but you could use any manufacturer, that doesn't really matter. And but the light molding paste I find is the most absorbent. And when it dries, it almost has a bit of a fiber effect. It is so absorbent. And then gesso, I just like to use a liquid gesso. So that is what I like to use on my texture. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much.